Psalm 77, verse 19 through 20. Your way was through the sea, your path through the mighty waters. Yet your footprints were unseen. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. The psalmist praised this to God, hearkening back to the Exodus story. God led Israel out of Egypt, and God freed Israel from bondage and slavery. Israel was God's people, is God's people, and Yahweh is their God. This Exodus story is unspeakably important to Israel. The Jews, they understand themselves as the product of this narrative. Their very existence hinges on this story, the story of God's election and liberation. This is their salvation history. Israel's identity is contingent on Exodus. Israel has no identity without the God who led them out of Egypt into the Promised Land. Now, I dare you, I challenge you to try to find so many as 10 consecutive chapters of the Old Testament after Exodus that do not make a single reference to the Exodus story. I mean, good luck. That's how central the story is to Israel's understanding of itself. We Christians also share in this story. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, God has grafted us in. We too are God's people, and we must never forget that our salvation comes from the Jews. Thus, the Exodus story stands imperative for us as well. So pay attention when the psalmist talks about Moses, talks about God freeing Israel from bondage. It's a pivotal moment in our salvation history as well. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron, the psalmist writes. Israel is God's flock. We are God's flock. The shepherd protects the flock, cares for it, and leads it. Jesus is our shepherd. He says so himself in the Gospel according to John, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Jesus laid down his life for the flock. Jesus died for the flock. But Jesus did not stay dead. God resurrected the Son, and we the church, must follow